All right. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started. All right. So, want to go over a few things first. They did add some new forms in Form Simplicity. I'm not sure if you guys have seen them yet, but I will show you. The first one is the modification to your buyer brokerage agreement, and then the showing agreement, which we'll get to in a minute. So last time when we talked about the buyer agreement, they did not have this modification in, and we were using the verbiage to kind of protect your compensation now. Well, they have listened, and now we have a modification. So if at any point the compensation that you are showing for that particular house does not match the original agreement, you would then go in before writing the offer and do the modification. Change the percentage or whatever it is, add in the incentive if it's from a builder, have them sign it, send it through e-sign, and then you're good to go. This can be for the termination date if you're doing that. The compensation right here, if it's a lease option, you can do this if you want to change your protection period, the cancellation fee, or the broker and consumer hereby agree to unconditionally terminate the agreement. Broker and consumer mutually release each other from all obligations under this agreement, and they release each other from claims. So that kind of gets them out of that conditional termination. Down here, it also does not change any of the provisions of the original agreement, just what you guys have checked in here. Date it was signed, send it by email so then we can keep it in Form Simplicity for the 5 years that we have to retain all of these. I will put the annotated versions into Form Simplicity as soon as we are done. Is the property pre-touring agreement. So again, when we were doing the buyer agreement, everybody had questions. They were concerned about getting somebody that you just met to sign that 3-page document. Here is a pre-touring agreement. This one can be used in the very beginning if you want to take them out and show them some property. Again, fill it out with the brokerage name, their name as it appears in the government ID, and however many days, let's say they're in town for a weekend, so you can put, those 3-4 days. Broker compensation, they do not owe anything at this time, but if they wish to work with you, then their fee would be down here. That's where you can put the 3% plus your broker's fee. And then this right here, if they wish to work with the broker to purchase the property, this is when you would then have them sign the buyer broker agreement. They're going to sign and date down here. You are going to sign and date, and then again, send it through e-sign so that you have this on record. Good. All right. Then we have the showing agreements. This one is a little bit more complex than the pre-touring agreement, but less complex than the buyer broker agreement. So this is one maybe you've been working with for a little bit. You haven't just met them, but you don't want them to sign the buyer agreement quite yet. You can do a showing agreement. Again, you can have it end on any time that you want it to. And the properties, you would just make a list of whatever you're going to be viewing during those terms. And then this can also be modified with the buyer broker agreement. It's the buyer broker and then the showing agreement modification. It's all one document to change it. So you can start with whatever you are going to be seeing during that visit and then amend it as needed. Down here, we'll talk about compensation. Purchase down here is either a flat fee or 3%. This can also be your broker fee. You can use these for leases, and then they also have the retainer in here. additional terms. You cannot put anything about your compensation if it is higher, that you are allowed to keep that compensation. We're not allowed to use that wording, that verbiage, which is why you would then modify the agreement. Same thing with dispute resolutions as before, and then acknowledgement that they understand that this modifies, have them sign date, you sign down here, and that you delivered it by mail here. Those are the newest forms that came out. They're already in the forms packages. I just have not included the annotated versions. Like I said, when this is over, I will include those. So now that that is done, who has any questions pertaining to any of the forms or about anything that is going on so far?
Hey Mallory, good morning. This is Francisco.
Good morning. How are you?
Good, good. Hey, just to clarify, so I have a new client after August 17th. This is the first time that I meet, and they just wanted to see a couple of properties. In this case, I will only need the showing agreement fill out to show the first two, three properties. Is that correct?
You, in that situation, you would use the property pre-touring agreement.
Okay,
So
but
the way to kind of think about this is the pre-touring agreement is like you're dating. The showing agreement is like you got engaged. And the broker agreement is like you got married. Kind of the easiest ways to remember those three forms.
okay, so the pre-touring will be the only that I need to start building the relationship with the client.
Correct. And then when you progress, then you go to the showing agreement. Progress after that, go to the buyer agreement. Or
Okay.
go straight from the pre-touring agreement to the buyer agreement.
Okay. Cool. That was my question. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
I have a question, Mallory. This is Anthony.
Hey, Anthony, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
I am good.
Good, good, good. So just to make sure I understand, so technically we could go straight to the buyer's agreement. Is that right? Or
Yes.
okay,
You can start there if you want.
okay,
Like if you already have that relationship and you're good, start
mhm,
there. If not, start with that pre-touring one.
okay,
And then remember to always keep them in your transaction. So it has to stay with it.
okay,
And these agreements will be sent to the title company. Those are the only ones that are going to see any of these agreements. The compensation agreement on the listing side, and then any of these showing pre-touring or buyer agreements will only be seen by title companies.
okay.
And then there are a few other little fun tidbits that we have learned. They just throw information at us every day. So when you call a listing agent and you want to know what the compensation is on that house, they should be sending you the compensation agreement so the brokers can sign it. If you do not receive that or you cannot get in contact with the listing agent, you need to write your commission into that as is, because if you do not have that compensation agreement signed by the brokers, it can technically not pay you on the buy side. So just keep that in mind. So make sure that you're getting that. And then we will have one of those in the listing files for everyone who's listing a property. That will be in there already with Orgus's signature on it so that you guys can just send those out. Did everyone get that? Okay. Perfect. And that's really just to protect yourself. So always make sure you either have something in writing from the listing agent or you have that compensation agreement before that offer is accepted to protect you as a buyer's agent. Awesome.
Hi, Mallory. This is Anila. Can you hear me?
I can. Good morning, Anila. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? Thank you for asking. Quick question. On the showing agreement that you show us, it said on the listing properties, should I put only one property or the list of them? Because I'm not sure about that.
I would do, like, if you're going for the weekend and you already have the list in mind,
Mm-hmm.
I would put all of those on there and then any backups that you think might work.
Okay. All right. Thank
And
you.
then you would have to modify that if they found one that wasn't on the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have to write down another one or
Yes.
just add that one and
Add it and
for
just have them
signature?
initial next to it. Yep.
Okay. All right.
But then make sure you take that one that they hands initialed and you upload it into their transaction.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Any other questions from anyone on here about, doesn't have to be the forms, can be about anything that's happening. All right. So we're all good.
Believe so.
All right. Awesome. Well, you guys go enjoy your week. And I will talk to everybody soon. Be on the lookout for some emails that kind of go over what I just talked about so you have it for your reference.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you,
too.
Mallory.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.